How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So you may or may not have played Caldera yet, and you might be wondering where some good spots to land are. So I've got you covered in today's video with some ideas on where some good places are to land. So the order of this video is going to be my personal favourite spots to land, then some of the more hot drops where you can find a lot of enemies and probably get some kills, and then lastly some more quieter, less well-known spots that you won't find as much competition trying to kill you for that loot. But just remember, don't always follow these tips. You don't have to. You can just explore at your own pace and just enjoy the game as well. Don't worry about getting too sweaty and getting some kills. But it's just a good guide to go off if you're looking for some spots. So we'll get straight into it now, guys, and I hope you enjoy the video. So, up first, one of my personal favourite spots is going to be Peak. This is going to be that volcano area right in the middle. It's just a lot of fun here. I enjoy landing here. You can get some other teams landing, as you'll see in this clip here, but you're going to get some really good loot, and there's a lot of areas to explore, which I, to be honest, haven't really gone through the whole thing just yet. But there's that big hole in the ground there, and you can go underground, get some loot. You'll get people landing up on all the rock faces and things like that. And I'll land at these sort of tents here, try to get a gun fast. But I somehow got stuck behind it in this clip here. I hear a guy pushing me, but we do manage to get the kill. But yeah, Peak is just an all-round fun place to land if you don't want to land somewhere too hectic. But you do have that chance where you may get another team coming, and you've got to fight it out for control of the volcano there. So that's my first favourite spot, and we're on to the next one. So up next, we're going to go to the Airfield. Now, this would be considered probably a hot drop, but I'm considering it one of my favourite spots on this list. Obviously, if you land here, you can expect to try and get a plane off the start. If you haven't flown a plane yet, I'd recommend practicing because I sort of mess it up every time. I'm used to sort of pulling down on the stick to move upwards from like Battlefield games and stuff like that. But on this, it's you push up to move up, if that makes sense, so they're not inverted. But I'm sure you could probably change that in the settings, so just to get used to that. But the airfield overall, these areas here, is a little bit less hectic than the big buildings. I'm not really sure what you call this, maybe the barracks, something like that. So if you land here, you can find some good loot in each of these little spots. And as you'll see in the gameplay, we don't get approached by any other team in this one, but it is a very random spot. Sometimes depends on where the plane flies over in the beginning. If it flies over this, you're going to get a lot of people coming here for the plane straight off the back, because people just love flying those things around like crazy. But yeah, it's all around a good spot, and then you can get some good loot and get some fast money just in time for that loadout when you can finally buy it. So, on to the hot drops that I've found so far. Like I say, just a heads up, in my experience, these are the hot drops. You may have had different in your games, but these are just some tips to go off and just a rough guide that you can use. But the hottest drop I've found so far in the game has got to be the Capital. I'm sure you may agree with this one as well, or if you've seen any YouTubers play, you'll know a lot of them like to land there to try and get those kills. But basically, if you land in any of these buildings, you're going to just approach some enemies just straight off the back. I haven't landed here once where I haven't had a fight straight off the start, so that's a bit of a thing to go off there. But it's a very densely populated area where you're going to get a lot of buildings and lots of loot. So it is a really good one to get loot if you can win your gunfights. I decided to fly a plane around it in this clip here just to show you how sort of big the area is as well. And then you've also got Resort as well just below me there, which I'll show you a little bit of a closer look at just in a second here after the next one. But basically, if you come down these streets here, this main big building is going to be the main spot. Up next, I just wanted to mention the docks right at the top of the map. Now, this is kind of a hot drop. On this clip here, it's typical when I'm trying to record for you guys, nobody else lands here. But in a lot of the games, any time that I've rotated to here or even parachuted here, I've had a lot of teams fighting for mainly those sort of big buildings in the centre there, as you can see, as you will get a lot of loot, and it's a big area to cover. It's such a big map, the areas are just huge in comparison to some of the Verdansk areas. But yeah, like if you compare this to somewhere like Quarry maybe, similar with the big industrial buildings and whatnot, but you can explore all of these buildings, you're going to get a lot of loot straight off the bat, and some good cash as well. But like I say, most of the areas are going to have some good spots, but I would call this more of a hot drop because there is a lot of enemies that land here sometimes, and you're going to be fighting for control of these main buildings. You've also got the area that's close to the water, right at the window there by the big ships. But basically, yeah, if you land here, be prepared for a fight, and be prepared to find yourself some nice, good loot as well to set you up for the game. So we'll move on to the last spot now, which is going to be Resort. Now, whenever there's a building on its own in Warzone, I swear players just love to land there and fight. Now, Resort is kind of like a little superstore at the bottom of the map. It's right by the Capital, so you can rotate out from one to the other, or the other way around. Now, this is a good building with good loot. Just be prepared for people to fight here. For some reason, this attracts a lot of players, so bear that in mind if you're landing at Resort. Now, on to some of the more quiet, less popular drops. Now, this is not to say you won't find any enemies there at all, but these are a little bit less hectic and less densely populated like the ones I've just shown you. So, up first, we're going to go to Fields. Now, in this clip, this is my first time landing there, but it was quite a nice little spot just to chill. We did bump into one other team, but we managed to take them out and get some good loot from it. Now, you're going to be looting inside of these little buildings, going hut to hut, trying to just find a good gun off the start. But there is a lot of them, so you will be able to find some good loot. As you can see there, easy cash straight away, easy plates. Just depends on what gun. Sometimes it is luck in this game, to be honest, on what gun you get. Like, I got a double barrel here. Like, look at the state of the iron sights on it. Obviously, it is a shotgun, though, but there we go. But basically, yeah, Fields is a nice area if you want to land somewhere a little bit more chilled. Just keep your guard up, though, because there's not going to be no one here, but you'll see. Now, a little underrated spot would be Power Plant, in my opinion. This is just towards the bottom of the map still, kind of above Capital and things like that. So this is a spot where I haven't really bumped into anybody yet. In this clip, I did bump in somebody rotating in after. But, you know, straight away, if you land here off the back, I would say it's kind of unlikely no one's going to land here, especially if it's off the line. Once again, it does depend on where the line goes over. But a lot of the times, you know, this map is that big, you won't bump into people as much. But yeah, basically, if you land here at Power Plant, you've got all these little buildings on the outskirts, which these are the same build or same style as the ones in Verdansk. I'm sure you'll remember those. The little ones with a little corridor in them. But basically, if you come for all these power stations as well, you can get some good loot lying down in these, if it's not out of a chest as well. And then you can parkour up the top of the building, or you can go in through the bottom. But yeah, there's good loot inside of this big building, and you will get some good contracts and buy stations spawning here as well. So yeah, Power Plant is a nice underrated one to keep an eye out for, and I would recommend trying to loot it up if you're passing by. Now, lastly, a nice quiet area. I'm going to show sort of 2 in 1, and just a sort of general area, to be honest, on this left side of the map on the west. So basically, if you come over here to Village, it's going to be a nice looking village in the hills here, kind of. Basically a little river going through the middle of it, but you've got all of these little huts, similar to Fields. There's not going to be a lot of people here, to be honest, and especially, like I say, you know, if it's far away from the line, there's probably going to be even less. But, you know, you've got the bigger buildings here towards as we move down the map. But, yeah, if you keep rotating there, say you land at Village, you can keep rotating downwards down the coast, and you can make your way over to Lagoon. Now, this is a beautiful looking area. I'm sure it's probably one of the best, to be honest. But, you know, lagoons are nice anyway. But you can loot through all of these buildings here, and you can rotate around to this bridge, make your way across it, and you can get up to that lighthouse there, which I haven't actually been inside of yet, or to the top of rather. But, you know, you've got some good loot lying around there. And you will get a few contracts and buy stations spawning here, which is always sort of key as well for these early games. But yeah, it's just a nice area if you don't want to land somewhere like Capital and get killed off the start. If you land here, it's very unlikely you're going to get killed, to be honest. I'm not sure what I compare this to on Verdansk. Maybe you could compare it to the hills area of Verdansk, right at the bottom there. Remember that? You know, you're not always going to bump into people, but you may. But if you land here at Lagoon, you know, you can rotate towards the airfield, you can get looted up, make your way over there, and hopefully by the time you get there, you know, the loadout's going to be coming in, and you're going to have that money to get your ghost as well. So there's a lot of rotations you can make from here. You keep following the coast down as well, eventually make your way over to Capital. Lots of options from the Lagoon and Village area. So guys, that's going to be all for today. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Also let me know in the comments below what your favourite spot is, or if you feel that I've missed out on any important spots here, also let me know. As I said, these are all just my own opinions from my experience playing so far, so don't hate me if some of these spots don't link up to how you've sort of experienced it so far. This just is more of a little rough guide for people to follow if they haven't played yet, or if they're looking for some new spots to land and they haven't had the chance to explore the map on their own. But yeah, just also remember, you know, just have fun just exploring, to be honest. It's a completely new world. First time we've ever had a massive new world in Warzone from Verdansk. So just have fun exploring it whilst you can, whilst it's all new and fresh before the sweats take over. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to speak to you in the next one.